Hey, good afternoon to you. Mark again here, WeatherMan Plus. I got some good updates for you, not only for the tropics for today. I'm still showing we're on that 2 week break, guys, not only from the cold front, bringing all that shear. Plus, around September, most of our tracks take this path right here. And I'm not only for this one right here for 95L, I'm showing the next wave that Noah will be talking about soon. After this wave is going to take the same path. Plus, I have a good update on the La Palma volcano, the potential for the Mega Tsunami. But I got information from the scientists. That's what I was looking for today. For some good, solid information from you guys, not just stories. And all the links are in the description with the titles above them, so you can see what each link really will be before you click on it, so you know which each one is. But the scientists are actually showing that this is a good chance that this will not happen, like it's a lie. But I'm going to give you all the information I have for you guys. God bless you all. I hope you have a very blessed day today. And all of you that recently subscribed, thank you so much for supporting my channel and subscribing to me. If you've never been here before, my name is Mark. I do upload every single day, just not Friday from sundown to Saturday from sundown to Sabbath. But I will make sure you're covered. Matter of fact, I am all year long, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you click that bell and click on all so you get all my uploads. Now, the latest on Nicholas is still 15 miles per hour winds, and it is moving north at 7 miles per hour. 96L is still showing the same thing. It's going to be moving away, no impacts. We've been knowing that for a while, guys. And 95L is still showing the same path that is going to be curving out and following the same path as 96L. I'm still showing that that high pressure block is there, so there still is a couple potential possibilities. And this one over here is just a joke, not even nothing to talk about. It's been headed north. It's been showing it's going to head north. It's headed north. No worries on that one. But there is one coming off after that Noah will be showing pretty soon. And that one's going to take the same path as 96 and 95L and curving this way. This is where our September path usually goes. Also in the Gulf, but once again, I'm not showing anything in the Gulf. And that cold front coming down will put a lot of shear on everything even close to this country. So I'm not showing that we have any worries still for the next 2 weeks. Now, update real quick on Nicholas. Your rainfall amounts for the next 2 days. All this light green is 1 to 2 inches. And this dark green right here by southern Mississippi and by Mobile, Alabama is 2 to 4 inches. Plus, update on the La Palma volcano. They have reported that an increased activity in the volcano has started picking up again. And that's from today. Now, even though they say that the tremors have become increasingly shallower and are of a higher magnitude, indicating that the magma is closer to escaping and a volcanic eruption is possible over the coming days or even weeks. However, there are currently no signs of an imminent eruption, guys. And I'm even showing the data that there is an eruption. That don't mean there's going to be a tsunami or a mega tsunami. More than likely, it'll do like what happened in Malaysia, where it crumbled away instead of falling in like a big rock. To get a mega tsunami, you need a big, massive size to splash into the ocean for it to carry those waves like everybody's been showing in their videos. Also, the officials have raised this level to yellow level. They did this the other day. It has not raised any higher. I know people was wondering if maybe it's red or orange by now. It's not. It's still at yellow. Now, during the last 24 hours, La Palma Volcano had 3 quakes of magnitude 2 or above. And that's the important ones, is the higher ones. The higher ones will really cap the top and help this thing erupt. There are also 38 quakes below a 2.0, which people don't normally feel. And you can see that these quakes are getting shallower, guys. 9 hours ago, we had a 1.5 quake, 10 kilometers. We also had another one 9 hours ago, 1.3, that was 5 kilometers. And then 7 hours ago, we had a 2.0, which was only 3 kilometers, very close to the top. And then 2 hours, 48 minutes ago, we had a 2.3, that was 6 kilometers. And then 40 minutes ago, we had a 1.8, that was 8 kilometers. So it's still very active. It's still showing some very strong ones, even some 2.0s, even above a 2.0 in there. And we are showing some more shallow at 3 kilometers, which proves that the magma is pushing further up to the top of the volcano, so it's not stopped. And the more shallower that we have of these earthquakes shows that the magma is pushing further and further to the top of the volcano. The magma pushing up is what's causing these earthquakes. So the shallower the earthquake, the higher up the magma is, the more sooner it will erupt. Now I'm going to get back to the volcanoes in just a second. Let me update the tropics real quick. Now Invest 95L has been showing that it's going to go north and curve north the whole time. It's still showing that, guys. In 4 to 5 days, it's going to make that northward push. No worries. Matter of fact, the intensity has gone down. It showed a Cat 1 hurricane possibility earlier, and now it's showing the highest potential is a tropical storm. That's because of all the shear. Now, as you look with the GFS, you can see how it heads north, and then it starts weakening down greatly and turns north. No problems whatsoever. The Euro is also agreeing that this will head north, and it will be a very weak system. However, you can see also with the Euro that the next wave has a potential to be a little more southern, to where it could stay into the northern half of the Caribbean and maybe get towards our Gulf, which the shear will kill it anyway. And usually in September, this is the path that all these tropical cyclones do take, is right along the east coast and turns. And we usually don't have big issues. They do get close, but normally this is the path they take for September. October is still going to be the biggest month. I'm still showing that. And you can see with the shear, as the system moves north, a lot of shear, weakening it down, the system down to an upper level low at times and taking it north. Plus our cold front still coming through will keep us protected. If you look at this, all that shear going on all the way towards the Yucatan, nothing will come even close to our country. If anything tries to pop up, guys, it will be pushed out for quite some long time with a whole bunch of shear. This is going to be a very deep cold front like I showed you yesterday, and it's going to be protecting us the whole time. That's why we're just on a break. Now, when you follow the rainfall according to the Euro, you can see in 3 days pretty much the path. It takes a northern track with Invest 95L. 96L gets out of here, and within 10 days, you can see that sudden abrupt stop with all the heavy rainfall. That's because of that stalled effect from that high pressure block that we've been seeing. I'm still showing the same thing. So not only the high pressure is coming in from the cold air, but the shear will keep this storm away after that. So I'm not showing that this thing is coming anywhere close to us still. And the GFS is also confirming in 3 days, Invest 96L will be out of here, and 95L will be taking that northward path. In 5 to 10 days, you can see where it's going to go. All this rainfall in the southeast, that's from that cold front coming down. It's going to be front induced. But all these storms are headed out. This storm in 95L is still headed north, not getting anywhere near us. Now, there's a team of experts that is monitoring the volcano, and they're called the Volcano Risk Prevention Plan. And they say it's possible that the magma could cause a volcanic eruption in the surface in the next few days or weeks. But while the process has intensified, there's no clear signs of an imminent eruption. So for this reason, they have raised it to yellow, which is their second highest in the 3-tiered system. Now, on Wednesday, there were 4 tremors that measured more than 3 on the Richter scale. And once more, the tremors are also becoming closer to the surface, which indicates that magma is looking to escape. While the first earthquakes were recorded at more than 20 kilometers below the surface, on Wednesday they actually hit a depth of 6 and 8 kilometers. So the closer to the top, the more sooner it will erupt. Now, the Pavalco committee wants everybody to stay calm but stay alert. They also said that earthquakes of larger intensity are to be expected. The head of the government administration of La Palma, Mariano Hernandez Zapata, said on Wednesday that he was not ruling out any fast changes in the situation that could lead to an eruption in the short term. Now, Luca de Aroria, the head of the Volcano Monitoring Department of the Canary Islands Volcano Institute, said that based on what is known about the geological history of La Palma, magma builds up in an area that is 5 kilometers below the surface before entering into an eruption. What's most likely is that the magma has found a way towards the surface and is very likely that it will end up reaching it. He also states that the situation is evolving very quickly, faster than what was recorded in El Hierro in 2011, when earthquake swarm took place for weeks before the eruption. Although the expert admitted it could amount to nothing, he argued that it was likely that an eruption will happen in the areas being hit by earthquakes, but we just don't know yet. Now, there has been a lot of speculation on what the impacts could be if this does happen, and could it really hurt the eastern seaboard of the U.S., or is that just speculation? Now, there is some that say that this will happen, that this could eventually come to the eastern seaboard, could cause devastational impacts on the U.S. And there's some information out there to say it's according to what's going on the eastern seaboard. Some states might see a big wave if this was to happen. Some states would not be no inland flooding. It would just be a big impact and stop. Matter of fact, I'm showing by some scientists that this has been debunked a long time ago, that this actually could not happen. And let me give you his information as well. Now, there's a big question on if we have a 300-foot high wave tsunami, how far will it go and what would the impacts be along the eastern seaboard? Now, Stephen Ward said that there have been fears that an eruption could cause a mega tsunami. Matter of fact, if you look here from the picture I showed you yesterday, it shows waves of 130 to 160 feet traveling up to 12 miles inland as it hits. And it could be anywhere from 7 to 8 hours as it hits inland. And how accurate is this model? And this evolution right here shows you what could happen in a matter of 2 minutes versus within 9 hours, all the way through the cycle of what could happen if there was a mega tsunami. Now, Stephen Ward, after he'd done his research, he did say that now, even after crossing the Atlantic, a lateral collapse of the volcano could impose a great sequence of waves of 10 to 25 meters in height on the shores of the Americas. Now, while others do say that there is a chance for 1, 2, 300-foot waves to go far inland if a tsunami does hit the eastern seaboard, guys. But even though that sounds logical, there are variables that could debunk this. Now, a tsunami will speed across the ocean at hundreds of miles an hour, but at a relatively small height because of the ocean and the depth. Miles an hour, but at a relatively small height because of the ocean is deep. Also, its speed will decrease as it approaches the shoreline because the ground beneath it is getting shallower, but its energy begins to transfer to a monstrous height. So the waves will be smaller, but as it comes closer towards shore and everything is getting shallower, the waves will start to slowly gradual bigger. Now, this don't mean that 300-foot waves would go far inland if this was to happen. If this was to happen, the speed of the wave as it approaches zero on impact, the wave will break and much of its energy will be released, which means it will lose energy as it travels inland. The tsunami that reaches a height of 300 feet when it rears up at the shore will lose its height. It will not be a 300-foot wave going 12 miles on land. He also states, it is conceivable that a given tsunami may rear up quickly and very high once it reaches the shore, depending on the shape of the ocean floor leading to the shore. And then it will break and lose much of its energy in a relatively short distance, while another tsunami may be more compressed and it could thrust forward very quickly while traveling a long distance inland. So if it's a very huge tsunami, it will hit the shoreline and break quickly as the energy continues to travel inland. It would not stay huge. But still, the flooding and the impact of that would still be very bad. So he made a chart so you can kind of understand a little bit where you at on the U.S. and what impacts could be if this was to happen. There are many other variables, not only for the ocean depth, the seafloor depth, on how high the waves could be and what the impacts could be, but how far it would travel inland. So if you live 20 miles inland along the Florida coast, for an example, an elevation of 50 feet doesn't necessarily mean that a 300-foot tsunami will have enough remaining energy to travel all the way across to your location. Another example, there are some instances whereby a tsunami would probably only travel several miles inland, which is still terrible, guys. But if it gets into this scenario where it may roar up a riverway or a bay, the devastation would be far inland. It would just carry along with the water. So I'm going to go through a little bit of what I showed you yesterday on the impacts that he showed, because regardless of the factors, this is his opinion. And he says that with an increment of 75-foot waves all the way to 300-foot waves, what would the impacts be on the East Coast? And this is his guesstimate. Within 20 miles of the coast, you may be vulnerable to one of these things if it would happen. But again, this is his own estimation. And he put it here so you can see exactly which city, which state would have the most impacts. The lower the number, the biggest the impact. This is at your elevation. So like Portland, Maine, you're 50 feet above sea level. Or if you go down here by Miami, Florida, and all these places on Florida, it's a big flat state, that you're less than 10 feet above sea level. So you would have more of an impact. So here's your example right here for Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York coastal elevation map. So if it was 75-foot waves, 150-foot waves, 225-foot waves, or 300-foot waves, how far inland it would affect your area. Here's an example for Chesapeake Bay and North Carolina coastal for the elevations. how far inland it would go. Here's your guesstimate for the coast of North and South Carolina, according to the elevations of where they are, how bad the impacts could be. Here's your impacts for Georgia coastal, so you can see how far up Georgia it would go if it was so much of a wave height. With Florida getting the worst case scenario because it's a big flat state, just like it was when I was in Louisiana. Everything's flat down there. And it would literally go across the whole state. And here's the main reason why they're saying a mega tsunami would not really be more than likely the outcome scenario if this was to happen. Now, this was posted by David Petley. All this is in the links in the description. The threat of mega tsunami generation from collapses of oceanic island stratovolcanoes has been greatly overstated. No mega tsunamis can be expected. And here's where they get their thinking, guys. A key issue here is the mechanics of the landslide. To generate a very large tsunami, this slide would have to happen very fast, almost like a meteor hitting the ocean, an essential coherent block. Remember that this is a landslide of 500 cubic kilometers, and I do not think that very, very large landslides usually behave like this. The chances are that a collapse would occur in stages over a longer time period, which would generate a much smaller wave. Most scientists recognize that the single intact block collapsing very fast idea is theoretically possible, but that it is the extreme end member of a wide range of scenarios. So it's a worst case scenario. It's not the most likely outcome. Now, there also are other issues, like where the tsunami deposits from the mega tsunamis, given that we know the previous collapses have occurred. And a tsunami on this scale should leave deposits that would be very easy to map. Unfortunately, although most landslide scientists view the likelihood of a single coherent landslide as being very low. And in fact, the actual evidence to support that view in the case of these types of landslides has not been strong, guys. We do not have a lot of evidence showing that this would be a one block fall. They're showing it'd be like the mudslide that happened before, that it would crumble down. It would leave deposits and it would crumble down. It wouldn't be a fast chunk going into the ocean causing some kind of mega tsunami. That's highly unlikely. Now, even though they've given this information showing that it would not be a one chunk slide, it would actually be multiple deposits. Unfortunately, despite these rebuttals, the story has had remarkable traction. Like this picture here, people just want to show a mega tsunami destruction hitting the East Coast, and is highly unlikely according to the scientists. And these same people that's printing this, even though there's information out there to debunk this, they are still posting this. And this is what they go by. I'm sure you've seen it a lot of times. A colossal wave caused by a chunk of rock the size of the Isle of Man breaking off La Palma and the Canary Islands will one day devastate southern Europe and the entire east coast of America. Scientists believe this disaster is already way overdue. When it does come, it will cause a mega tsunami that will hit with the power of an atomic bomb traveling at the speed of a jumbo jet. Starting off at 2,000 feet, the giant wave will still be at 100 feet high by the time it reaches the other side of the Atlantic, destroying everything in its wake and affecting up to 100 million people. Now, what do scientists say about this statement? Given the ridiculousness of this sort of statement, and there are worse examples out there, it is good to see a new paper that erodes the case of the mega tsunami still further. He also states in 2013 that he has published in the Journal of Geochemistry, Geophysics, and Geosystems, but sadly, the article is behind a paywall. They're not letting people see the truth, guys. And the paper presents a very detailed analysis of the deposits left on the seafloor by Canary Island flank collapses. The research is meticulous and comprehensive. The authors note that the seafloor deposits record 8 volcano flank collapse events. However, the key element is that each deposit is formed from a series of subunits, each of which can be clearly differentiated from other subunits based on the geochemistry of the materials that they contain. So the interpretation by the authors, which sounds very sensible to me, is that each subunit represents a different phase of the collapse event. In other words, Each of these major collapses did not occur as a single coherent block, but as a series of sections, one after the other. That means it did not fall completely as one big chunk, creating a mega tsunami. It crumbles, and it does create devastation. It does create some issues close by, but not a mega tsunami. And still, this information is being hidden, guys, and this is from scientists. They just want the devastation out there. They don't want the truth that the scientists are saying this is more likely going to crumble in sections and not one piece. And if you want a better analogy, here's a better example from the scientists from the 1993 landslide in Malaysia. Now remember, all these videos are in the links. That way you can go watch them for yourself. But before I show you a piece of it, the implications are clear. Previous flank collapses have occurred in a series of distinct events rather than as a single coherent block. Each of these could have been able to generate a very large wave and even a local tsunami. However, they would not have generated a mega tsunami. There is no reason to believe that a future event will behave differently. So this scare should be consigned to the garbage can once and for all. But they won't let it. They're hiding this paper behind a paywall, which means it's being hidden. And if you want people to see it, you got to pay me a price. We like putting a fear out there. He's saying it's garbage, that it will not happen like that. And we can see, by example of the Malaysia landslide, what would most likely happen. Now this link is in the description, so you can go watch this video for yourself. But it shows you what happened with the Malaysia landslide. It crumbles. It didn't all fall as one piece. It crumbles off, and it does create devastation. I'm not trying to hide that, but it crumbles off. It don't just slide off in one big chunk. So it would cause a local tsunami. It would not cause a mega tsunami coming across the Atlantic, guys. It would crumble right off the edge, just like it did in Malaysia. So you can look at past events and see what we can expect out of this event. More than likely, according to scientists, it would crumble. So it would more than likely be a multi-stage event and not just one chunk like a meteor coming into the ocean, guys. This has significant implications for geohazard assessments, as multi-stage failures reduce the magnitude of the associated tsunami. The multi-stage failure mechanism reduces individual landslide volumes from up to 350 kilometers to less than even 100. Thus, although multi-stage failure ultimately reduces the potential landslide and tsunami threat, the landslide events may still generate significant tsunamis close to the source. So close to that volcano would see the worst impacts. All the way across the Atlantic to us, highly unlikely. Plus, the scientific committee has also ruled on the news that appeared in the media about a possible great collapse of the west flank and consequent formation of a mega tsunami, highlighting that there is no data to support this hypothesis and that it lacks any basis proven scientific. They also state to keep calm, guys. Before a volcanic eruption, there is a gradual increase in seismic activity which can last for a long time and can be perceived by the population, so keep calm. They also state that they have an emergency phone number for you. If any significant changes are observed, noises, gas, ashes, change in the water levels of the wells, small tremors in the ground, things like that, you should contact 112. And remember, this is an emergency telephone number. Also, if you live with people with reduced mobility who needs a special evacuation like an ambulance, notify the Department of Social Affairs of your city council. Now, I still don't want to rule out a mega tsunami because there's still a chance for that. Even though the scientists are saying our information from past volcanic eruptions and problems have been crumbling, like the landslide in Malaysia, this video right here, link in the description, will show you the impacts and who may get impacts if it was to go off as one big chunk. North America, South America, Caribbean islands, everybody would be affected. So I'm going to leave this in the description so you can see what could happen and what impacts could be towards your area. So far, that's the update, guys, on what's going on with this possible mega tsunami. I'm showing scientific proof that has been debunked a while ago But this information is being hidden because people like the idea of scaring people with this big mega tsunami of 300-foot waves hitting the East Coast. He's shown that according to past data, that it's highly unlikely that it will crumble off and not slide off as one big piece. But to keep all precautions, I have left the links in the description so you can see, just in case it does, you will see what the impacts for your area can be. At the same time, God bless all of you today. I hope this information has helped you. Please share this on social media, or just hit the like button if you don't use social media. Let people know that this has been debunked a long time ago, and it is a potential lie that this could actually happen, because in the past experiences, the scientists see that this would actually crumble and not fall off as one big rock. Plus, this information is being hidden. So there's something about that, guys. At the same time, hope you have a very blessed day today. I know a lot of you out there are in your atonement. Bless you. Hope you have a very peaceful atonement. Good job. So let's give praise today to our Lord, to our Father, to our God. Amen. Psalm 21. The king shall joy in thy strength, O Lord, and in thy salvation how greatly shall he rejoice. Thou hast given him his heart's desire, and hast not withholden the request of his lips. Selah. For thou preventest him with the blessings of goodness. Thou settest a crown of pure gold on his head. He asked life of thee, and thou gavest it him, even length of days forever and ever. His glory is great in thy salvation. Honor and majesty has thou laid upon him. For thou hast made him most blessed forever. Thou hast made him exceeding glad with thy countenance. For the king trusteth in the Lord, and through the mercy of the Most High he shall not be moved. Thine hand shall find out all thine enemies, thy right hand shall find out those that hate thee. Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. The Lord shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. Their fruit shalt thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men. For they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform. Therefore shalt thou make them turn their back, when thou shalt make ready thine arrows upon thy strings against the face of them. Be thou exalted, Lord, in thine own strength, so will we sing and praise thy power. Amen. God bless you all today. May you have a very blessed, a very safe Friday. Help share this information. Let people know that scientists has actually debunked this, but their information is being hidden, guys. For this to come off in one big chunk is more highly unlikely than anything. It is the worst case scenario. Have a great day. Thank you so much for visiting my channel today. I will see you on Sunday. All glory does go to Yahweh, God of Jacob. Amen. Hallelujah, guys. Have a very, very good Friday. God bless you.